Mm. Well, welcome to Newsflow TV 247. Please, can we have you, sir? Can you introduce yourself, sir?
My name is Charles Ideo, a broadcast journalist and general manager of Jordan 105.5 FM Lagos. I'm a national affairs commentator. I comment on trending issues in the news, political, business, all whatnot. That's what I do.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to have you on my channel, Newsflow TV 247. Recently, an high court in Nigeria affirmed it that IPOB is a proscribed organization, and as FD as target as terrorists, it stands that they are terrorist group. And following that, some Igbo elder recently also called on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to please release Nnamdi Kanu, even as a condolence, gift for the death of their former chairman of
President General
of Ohanese, talking about Nwayao. All these things seems that it's getting class, because if you look at it, maybe federal government is even looking for a particular way to nail Nnamdi Kanu more by affirming that the organization that is championing has been proscribed and is a terrorist group, and his people are calling for his release. What do you see in this two?
Okay, well, it's a lot of questions packed up in the box. Let me start unpacking the box.
Okay.
First, yes, Nnamdi Kanu actually wasn't the person who started the agitation for
Biafra.
a sovereign Biafra.
Okay.
He was what I might call a foot soldier. What's happening in Biafra, in IPOB today, is a replay of what happened here in Yoruba land. There was a Freddy Fashion that started OPC, Odua People's Congress.
Yeah.
One of the foot soldiers that time was Are Gani Adams.
Yeah.
So Gani Adams was like the one who was leading the foot soldiers of that man, and over time they felt the man was whether it was too slow, that Freddy Fashion was too slow, or he wasn't doing what they wanted to do. Freddy Fashion was at that time just wanted something that is not very violent, but not Nnamdi Kanu,
Gani Adams.
They wanted to actually send a message, particularly during the military era, and then that was how they broke away from Freddy Fashion, who led OPC, and then, as the leader of the foot soldier followed him, and then he took over the reign, and his own became more popular. Today, if you mention OPC today, who would you see? You're going to be seeing the picture of Gani Adams. So it's a replay of that in Igbo land. You had Barrister Nwanzurike that started. He actually wasn't IPO, it was Maso.
Yes,
movement of the, movement of the something of the Raf Nwanzurike,
yes.
Good, started it. Nnamdi Kanu was also like a foot soldier.
In the
Masop that time. Then he also felt that the modus operandi of Nwanzurike wasn't powerful enough to send a message to the authorities. So he also had a breakaway and renamed his own to Independent People's
Biafra.
Yeah. Okay. So over time, of course, you know how violent they have been. Well, it's not really clear whether the violence in the southeast is perpetrated by IPOB. What a lot of people are saying is that IPOB, because of what they did in the past, that IPOB now became a franchise for criminal activities. So what people usually do, according to the report that I got, is that because IPOB has become known for its criminal activities, so go over there, do whatever is dastardly act, and then they pin it on IPOB. So that's exactly the way it has been. And of course, you know how Nnamdi Kanu was arrested and all that. So the proscription of that group, honestly speaking, will go a long way in addressing the issue of IPOB and its violence. Even if the FG releases Nnamdi Kanu will not have the power to gather people anymore. Because the people is going to be gathering the government is saying they can't gather because it's illegal.
It's
So
legal.
you can't gather, you can no longer gather. So when they what they are doing in Nigeria, even if you release Nnamdi Kanu, Nnamdi Kanu become powerless because there's no organization they can gather because the organization that he will gather has been proscribed and considered as a terrorist group. And what does it mean? When you proscribe a group and you have labeled them terrorist group, it means that the military formation, the military can go after them and use whatever might. They can use force, they can use arms and ammunition, they can even use anything to crush them.
Bomb too.
They can bomb them, they can do everything. That's exactly the advantage of declaring an organization is terrorist group. Because just like Al-Qaeda, when you declare, US that time they went after. I mean, you know how what's his name? The man at the kid, the head of the Al-Qaeda at that time. That man was killed.
Osama bin Laden.
Osama bin Laden was killed. And then you had this ISWAP and all that. So it's the same way they want to treat that. Now the kind will indeed be released, but they want to make sure that what they deal a heavy blow to his
platform.
Yes, the platform. After the platform have been decimated, when he comes out, he will have no food soldier to work with, and then the renegotiation will now start. Thankfully, President Tinubu is certainly making very political inroad into the southeast. The governor of Abia State, not Abia State, governor of Imo State is of the APC. We understand he's also reaching out to recruit other governors in Southeast to join his fold, even including Noti. We don't know how far those are true and how true those things are. Of course, you also have governor of Enugu State to back, and a whole lot. You see, like most of these people, even those of them who won the party on Labour platform, they have now National Assembly. Most of them have declared, they have now decamped to APC. So over time, I'm sure that there's going to be a reintegration of the Igbo country into national politics, and all these things will be a thing of the past.
Even away from Nnamdi Kanu, another block that we need to mention is Samonepa in Finland.
Yes.
He didn't leave the IPOP. He's still under the IPOP, but since Nnamdi Kanu has been incarcerated, he championed the
sit at home and
the violent axis of that thing. So to the extent that we can even say maybe the IPOB has even been divided, because you can see that sometimes Nnamdi Kanu follower
we dissociate themselves from
dissociate themselves from Samonepa. Maybe so I don't know now. Maybe what federal government is trying to do is for the benefit of Nnamdi Kanu or not.
Okay.
Because if they release Nnamdi Kanu, he can easily go and form another group that will not be as violent as IPOB was before. Now, what I want to say is that the calling for the release of Nnamdi Kanu, can we justify it? They don't look for these Igbo people. They don't say they should charge him to court or anything. They're just like a pleading bargain. What do you have to say about that?
Okay, well, I mentioned earlier that the FG is actually trying to decimate. I use the language decimate to totally, it's just like pulling a rug off the feet of Nnamdi Kanu. And the same thing has been extended to Samuel, but because Samuel has been the one that has been causing the violence in Igbo land, even when Nnamdi Kanu has been in incarceration. Nnamdi Kanu could not command his generals in the manner of speaking. So now Samuel has been the one here offshore. He's been in Finland. He's also a Finnish. He's Finnish too.
Yeah.
He's actually Nigerian, also a Finnish. He's from Finland. So, but he's been arrested and he's also been prosecuted over there. So you see, even the arrest of Samuel Nekpa is also helping the FG to ensure that the expedition of the decimation of IPOB. So they will deal a heavy blow on IPOB here back home, and also deal a heavy blow on IPOB even offshore. Once they're able to do that, Nnamdi Kanu will be released. Now, when you read Nnamdi Kanu is not going to be released a la carte. It's going to be released based on conditionalities.
Like,
we will release you on condition number 1, you cannot gather here. Number 2, you have to, since you are also a Briton, you have to live here, go to Britain. And if you make any, they will have a bilateral agreement with the British government. If it ever happens, they will exchange it, they will bring it back and all that. So they are going to be very stiff conditionalities for him to be released. Once he's able to accept those conditionalities, he will be released, but not before then. Samuel Nekpa is also undergoing, I think he's been arrested and also somebody. So by the time they are doing, it's the same thing that happened here in the southwest. Sunday Boho or somebody becoming also like Nnamdi Kanu. See how they pick him out and then they charged him to court. They rattled him. Now the man has been released, but his voice has been seized. He no longer has. He no
Can
longer
only
has
talk
that
from
voice.
outside.
Yes. Even when the last time I heard about him is the news. So his voice has been seized. When you seize the voice, see, when we were in secondary school, we were taught of the economic importance of the ant hill. The ant hill has a queen. If you destroy an ant hill today, give it till evening, they will rebuild it. As long as that queen continues to lay egg and continue to hatch, the workers are there, within the ant colony. But once you take a queen out of the ant colony, the soldiers and not the workers will have nothing to do. Give the ant colony by a week, the ant colony will collapse. It's the same thing. That's exactly what happened. Sunday Boho was like the queen. They picked him out, and then the ant collapsed. It's the same thing they want to do with IPOB. Once they pick, as they are taking out the system, they're taking some of the part of the system, and then they further up. But then the prosecution of that group as a terrorist organization is also another way to completely decimate. Once they're able to do that, Kanu will be released, as I said, based on condition that he must accept. If not, he will remain in incarceration for a long time. Once he accepts it, they will fly him out of this country so that he wouldn't have any interface, any human interface with anybody. His phone will be bugged, will be monitoring him. The British government will warn him that he cannot be a threat to Nigeria while he's over there because of the bilateral relation between Nigeria and... So a whole lot of things will go in over there. So he will definitely be released, but at what time it will be,